What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's had a good weekend. And yeah, before I get into this, I do want to advise you to go and join the mailing list in the link in the description, purely because I will be doing live back testing on Zoom, and in order to get access to those, you will need to be on the mailing list. So make sure to go and join the list. And yeah, let's get straight into things. So we're going to be starting with the economic calendar as per usual, and you'll see that we do have a lot of speeches all throughout the week alongside PPI, CPI, jobless claims. And yeah, it's just looking like a very busy week in general. So already we need to be careful with our risk management. That's definitely something we need to take into account. And then over the weekend, there was some quite impactful world news, as you can see. So all of this is going to be reflected in the markets. We're already in a state in general, like the markets haven't been clean at all. So it's going to make conditions very difficult, but it's just best to take this all into consideration. But moving into the week in general, I would like to think it'll be a simple week, obviously, creating the low or high on Tuesday and then delivering through to Thursday, but I highly doubt that's going to be the case. But yeah, definitely the days to look out for is going to be CPI, because that tends to be considerably impactful, and then Tuesday with PPI as well. So just something to take note of, and we'll pay attention to this as we move throughout the week. So let's get straight onto the charts. We'll start with dollar as per usual. So here we are on dollar, and if you remember last week, I was stating that I wanted to see an up close week, and that is what was delivered. So that's nice to see. And in terms of my bias with bullish dollar, nothing has changed, and the reason for that is because on a weekly time frame, we are still remaining bullish, as in there's nothing that's happened here that's indicating that we should be seeing low prices. So what does that mean? Moving into the new week, I'd like to continue to see up close weeks. It's as simple as that, guys. So like when I'm bullish, I want to be seeing up close candles, which is why last week I wanted to see up close candle, and moving into the new week, I also want to see up close candle, because as far as I'm concerned, nothing here is indicating to me lower dollar. Now, don't get me wrong, we did come off a high quite aggressively on Thursday with the reversal, but that shouldn't throw us off at all. So moving into the new week, I am going to mark out a few things that I want to bring our attention to. I'm going to mark out some premium PD arrays and some discount PD arrays that I'd like to think that price can key off of. So first of all, we have this bearish order block right here on a weekly. So I'm going to get that marked out. The opening of that should be quite sensitive to price, and if we're bullish, price should try and work its way up there. So let's just write weekly bearish order block open. And then we can move that to the right, and we'll make that blue. And then in terms of discount arrays to be keying off of, we do have the open of this bullish order block, which we traded to 2 weeks ago. So preferably price doesn't take out this week's low. However, last week's low, so week commencing 6th of May, I wouldn't be surprised if that low got taken out. And another reason for that is because if you remember last week, if you were watching my videos, you'll know that I wanted to see the 50% level get traded to, and we just about missed that. So as far as I'm concerned, price can still tag that, and as it's doing that, it will be taking out a significant low. So it will be very convenient for price to come down there. So let's get that marked out as consequent encroachment. So now we have a weekly consequent encroachment as well, C.E. We'll make that red like so. So moving into the new week, this is the lowest I'd like to see, assuming we're bullish, this is the lowest I'd like to see price trade and respect, and then I'd like to think that we can work our way higher. Now, obviously, we need to let Monday trade and Tuesday, obviously, but moving into the week fresh off last week, that is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for respect to be given to this level, and so long as I see that, I'm happy to be bullish with the expectation to then run for that weekly high as well towards that bearish order block. So let's now drop down to the daily and see what we can find. So here is last week's price action. You'll see we traded higher, and again, if you watch last week's videos, you'll know that I was calling for us to run up to this bearish order block level. What was nice to see is that as we traded into it, we did get a reaction off it. Now, I was expecting that reaction to happen on the Wednesday, but you can see that price actually needed to trade into it on the Thursday, and that's when we got the reaction. So to be honest, I learned something that day. It showed that, you know, these levels are significant in terms of on a daily basis, and that they can offer trading opportunity, because look at that, we had a nice midweek reversal off of that key level. So that's nice to see. So yeah, now you can see that we traded lower. Again, we should be looking for some kind of sell side targets to trade to, but if we're bullish, we want to see that get traded to in the early parts of the week, with the rest, you know, trading higher, assuming we're bullish. So again, we have that consequent encroachment marked out. That also lines up with daily consequent encroachment, and then we have Tuesday's low and Monday's low. So these are all going to be what I'm watching for price to trade into. On a daily basis, we also have fair value gaps. So we have, wow, a volume imbalance, a liquidity void, sorry, because this is void of any price action. So price may want to trade through that or to that and through that to start working its way lower. But again, I am expecting some kind of reversal once it gets into this deep discount. So I hope that all makes sense. Let's now drop down to the 4 hour. This is going to be the lowest I go purely because it's Sunday. And you'll see how we traded higher, traded into that daily bearish order block and also 4 hour bearish order blocks right here. And look at that beautiful displacement to the downside. And you can see how we're just consolidating now. So what am I watching for? Well, we do have a breaker here. We got a high, a low, a higher high, and then we have clear displacement to the downside. So I'm happy for price to continue trading higher. The highest I want to see it trade is going to be this up close candle before seeing it go lower, before then seeing it go higher. So does that make, I hope that should make sense. So moving into Monday and Tuesday, I'm happy for it to continue rallying, but I'd like to think that it will continue to respect this fair value gaps. And I'll just get this marked out like so. So this fair value gap preferably will provide resistance for price, more specifically the midpoints. Let's get that marked out. And then that will send price lower to start running for our discount of the week, to then witness a reversal to trade on higher. So that's what I'm looking for in price. Bearing in mind, I will not be trading on Monday at all, purely because I don't like to trade Mondays, and with the amount of news we have this week, it's probably best I don't. But I'm watching this last down close candle before the up move that caused this displacement. So let's get that down close candle marked out. I'm going to make that black, and I'm looking for that to provide resistance if price does reach up to it. So let's just get that all marked out. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm watching. So let's say price trades through this on Monday or Tuesday, which I highly doubt it would. But if it did, in that case, it will then probably start running for these highs and these highs quite early on. And it's obviously in a rush to get somewhere. But generally speaking, I want to see some kind of discount PD array traded to, such as this weekly consequent encroachment below these lows, and then a reversal to trade to some kind of premium PD array, such as this weekly bearish order block open. And then obviously we have these beautiful relative equal highs, which are just too smooth, as in prices, I do believe price eventually is going to want to sweep those, assuming we are bullish. So that's everything on dollar. I hope that all makes sense. Again, very consolidated, but I do hope that after this week and the amount of news we have, price will loosen up a little bit and it'll be a little bit easier to navigate in general. But yeah, make sure to stay tuned and we'll be following to see how price delivers. Let's now head over onto GBP USD. So I'm going to start here on the weekly as well. So if we're expecting a higher dollar, what are we looking for on GBP? We obviously want to see a down close candle on GBP. Now you'll see that's what happened last week as well. Beautifully, again, we expected that 50% level to get traded to. Yes, we didn't close as low as I wanted, but that shouldn't put us off. We still want to see lower prices. So now I'm going to be doing the exact same things. We're looking at premium PD arrays to key off of, and then discount PD arrays to be traded to. So you'll see that last week we traded to 50%, this consequent encroachment, and I would like to think that price doesn't manage to take out that high, but obviously if dollar manages to take out, you know, its low, then we may witness that on GBP. So that's just something to consider. But I'm going to work out a few PD arrays in the premium that I'd like to think price can find resistance at. So first we have this is a rejection block level. Let's get that marked out, rejection block. And that is weekly. And then I'm also going to mark out these bearish order blocks. Now don't get me wrong, we have already traded up into them, as you can see right here, but that doesn't stop price from, you know, being able to trade up there. So I will get that one marked out as well. Like so. And then in terms of discount, we obviously have this beautiful swing low from last week, so we can look at that as south side liquidity. We can look at that as south side liquidity. We'll get that put to the right, like so. And then I'd like to start seeing it trade down towards this rejection block level as well. So on a weekly basis, that's what I'm keying off of. I'm looking for, when we're in this range, I should be looking for shorts and expecting to find, you know, a lot of resistance with the expectation to be trading lower. Let's now go to the daily. And you can see how heavily consolidated we are and how just disgusting in general price action is. So this is why we need to be very careful. We do have a fair value gap right here, and you can see we failed to fill that completely last week. So price may try and do that in the new week, to create some kind of high. But overall, I'm looking to find resistance at this area to send price lower into the relative equal lows we have below this low and this low. And then we also have this fair value gap, which I also brought our attention to in last week's video. So that's something to consider. But generally speaking, Monday, Tuesday, I'm actively waiting for rallies. And then as soon as it gets to a key level, such as this weekly bearish order block, I am going to be looking or hunting for shorting opportunities. You'll see how we traded up. This is the bearish order block right here. We just about missed it there, which is another reason price may get quite, progressive in terms of reaching this bearish order block to then short off of. But again, this is assuming we are going to be seeing higher dollar this week. So let's just get that delineated as well. We'll keep this thinner. And then we have this breaker as well. High, low, higher high, clear displacement. That's what we wicked into here. But what I'm really looking for is, a proper trade into it, as in not just a quick wick. I'd like to think that price will actually trade into it, and then we'll see a clear turnaround at those levels. So let's go to the 4 hour. Again, this is going to be the lowest I go to. You can see clear consolidation, beautiful relative equal lows. Oh, excuse me. Beautiful relative equal lows below here. So price, again, if we avoid taking out these lows early in the week, that just says to me that we're going to be seeing higher prices at first to then send price lower. So that's what I'm going to be watching for. I want to be seeing rallies, and then I want to see these relative equal lows get traded to, and that daily fair value gap with a potential reach for the rejection block. But again, PPI and CPI do craziness to the market, so we do need to take that into consideration. And you can see we do have some high impact news on pound this week as well. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting week, and obviously we'll adapt as we go throughout, but that's just what I have my eyes set on right now. So let's just finish up on Euro USD. We'll just start on the weekly here as well. Now, what's interesting about Euro is that Euro had an up close week, whereas pound, this is Euro GBP, my bad. Euro had an up close week, whereas GBP had a down close week, with dollar having a up close week. So with that in mind, that already says that Euro is showing more strength than, ideal, than I'd ideally see. One thing, did I bring your attention to this? Yeah, I should have brought your attention to this. There is a gap here between this close and this open. There's a gap here because there's a clear gap of opening prices. I'm looking for this to continue to provide resistance. So let's make this black. And what you'll find is that we actually traded to the 50% level of that. I like to see that. So if we can see continued resistance inside of this range, again, that's going to help me form a bias in terms of wanting to see lower prices. Obviously, we have last week's high to take out for liquidity on the buy side, but overall, I'd like to think that this range in general doesn't get traded through. If it does, then dollar's likely bearish. Like, for that to happen, we'll probably see more bearish price action. But generally speaking, I'd like to think that this range can provide the resistance we need to start looking for shorts. What we'll be aiming for, we have an implied fair value gap down here, but I'm not going to talk too much on that. Instead, I'm just going to bring our attention to this low as a sell side target because it's a weekly low, so it's significant for price. So let's just get that marked out like so, sell side liquidity, and we'll put weekly sell side liquidity just so we know that it's significant. And yeah, let's go down to the daily. So as you can see, here's that range again I was talking about. So price can trade up there, and it very well may do if we're going to create, a Judas swing early in the week. If it fills the range, that's completely fine. There is a massive void here or gap, so filling that is completely fine for price. We may witness that, but overall, I'm looking for, some kind of reversal above buy side liquidity, such as that high right there, to then send price lower. Now there is again an implied fair value gap on this time frame as well, right here, just below that weekly sell side liquidity. So if we're bearish, I'd like to think that price can make its way down there. But first, again, Monday, Tuesday, I'm looking for rallies. I'm looking for a swing, a Judas swing. So for price to trade in the opposite direction, I want to see it delivering. But you can see, look at that. This is very ugly price action, and you can see how high resistance this is. So look at how price is delivering on the downside. Swoop, very easy. Look how price is delivering on the upside. It's struggling, right? Lots of up and down, lots of up and down candles, and it's just like you can see it's struggling. It's very high resistance, which is supportive of our idea of being bearish, because when we deliver to the downside, you can see how clean it is, and then here it's moving like an old man, like it's taking its good time. Let's go to the 4 hour. Again, consolidation. I do like the look of this high a lot. You can see me bringing your attention to that. So let's just get that high marked out. I would like to take that price. We'll zip up there, grab those buy stops, and then trade lower. We do also have a breaker, high, low, higher high, delivery to the downside. Trade into that here. We can always trade into it again. That's fine. Or we could trade right up to this bearish order block on a 4 hour basis. But overall, so long as this high doesn't get taken out, I'm happy to remain bearish. Let's say we trade aggressively higher and we start taking out that high, then it's likely that dollar is bearish. Like if price does manage to take out this high right here, hypothetically speaking, on dollar, that would be like dollar taking out, you know, this low or running aggressively through this low. When I say aggressively, I mean like just whipping right down and taking out, you know, these lows. So we will know if we're on the wrong side. It will be blatantly obvious because it will happen, and it will happen fast. But generally speaking, in terms of expectations, and what I want to see is continued respect of bearish PD arrays, such as this range, and then I start to trade lower into the weekly lows and PD arrays. So I hope that all makes sense, guys. I hope you found this insightful. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, like button, drop a comment, and again, join the mailing list. The link is in the description, and you can also join the Discord through the description as well. So that's going to be everything, guys, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.